How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, we got the pinion assembly back from Spryte Improvements in Idaho. And today I'm going to reassemble Rusty and the OC12. And we're going to get him back up and running again. But I want to show you a couple things first before we get started. So behind the scenes here, there's something that I didn't film because it was very time consuming. I don't know if you guys remember in the last video I told you I was going to use the winch to lift the differential up and down to get a bracket installed. Well, I did that. I am going to post some pictures of what the bracket looks like, and you're just going to have to believe me that it's bolted in there because it's such a tight spot to try to get to that there's no way I can film or get the camera into that spot to show it to you. But there's 3 bolts on the top of the bucket on each side, and there's a bracket that spans across that, and then they attach right here to the frame. I did have to modify it and weld some unistrut pieces on there to get it to work because it was for a 2100, which is it's not really a Spryte. It's a Thiokol, but it's a plowing version of, it's like a single person 44-inch wide to 7-foot wide tracks on it. Just a beast. But I had to cut it down a little bit and weld some extensions on it to get it to work. One other thing that we are going to address today is, you see my slave cylinders here? So all of the boots that come with those stock dry rotted out. So I had to order some EPMD replacements, and these come with a brake repair kit on Amazon. They're like $7, and you get 2 of these and a spring and a rubber washer and all this other stuff. But I figured out that these fit, and these are actually for drum brakes on a car. It's a repair kit for them, but these actually fit on these slave cylinders. And so when I pull the bucket lid off here to put fluid in, we will be replacing those as well. I also got brand new grade 8 bolts for the pinion assembly, so we'll be getting that installed. Cleaned up the bracket and repainted it, and then we've got our shim pack that goes in front of the pinion assembly. As far as fluid goes, I know a few of you guys that are watching this channel that have OC12s in your snowcat. This is the fluid that I use in the bucket. They say that you should change it out every 150 hours or each season, obviously because the fluid gets really dark from the brakes and the brake liners. When you use the brakes in there, it really dramatically changes the color of the fluid. This is the stuff you want to use. You don't want to use gear oil, or your braking system will not work very good and you won't be able to steer your cat very well. But this is a Caterpillar equivalent TO4. I use 30. You can get it in a 10 and a 50 weight. 30 works great for our area because we don't get down into the minus temperatures. We're above 0 a lot of the time. So that's the fluid I use. I will leave a link in the description. You can get this stuff on Amazon or eBay. And it is, right now, especially with all of the oil prices, you won't believe the price on these. I got these for like $100 shipped a piece. So that's pretty amazing. I think I'm actually going to start using this brand fluid in the truck, and because I got to do a differential gear oil swap in the truck, and they make the exact stuff that I need. What else can I tell you? Yeah, this is the older bucket of the stuff that I have. I've got this one, and then I got that one back there that I used to fill the drop boxes. So that's something I need to do today too, is top those off, make sure everything's good there. But let's get on to the part that you guys wanted to see here. Here's a shim pack that Pat sent. here's the information for Spryte improvement. If you have a Snowcat, Tiacle, Spryte, or Imp, specifically, he does work on that. And we talked on the phone for quite a while about how to fix this. I'm going to go to a GoPro view so you can kind of see what he did to fix this. So let me... Okay guys, here we go. We've got the pinion assembly back. Now, if you remember in the last video, this section right here had a tremendous amount of play in it. So now it has a brand new bearing in there, a brand new snap ring, and it is back to the factory set spec, okay? So this part is fixed. There's no more play in it, no more side to side, just a very small amount of play that's naturally occurring in the bearing. So that part is fixed. How Pat does that is, this is how he's explained it to me, and I'll throw some pictures up on the screen so you guys can see this. He machines out this housing and drops a hardened steel ring at the bottom of it, because what happens is this part, this bearing housing, when you go from forward to reverse, it wears itself out by pushing the bearing into the front of the housing and creating wear every time you go from forward to reverse. That's my understanding of how that part wears out, and it's his fix, and he says it's been working great for years to be able to do that. Now, as far as this top bearing goes, this wasn't replaced because this can have all kinds of play in it, and it doesn't really matter because this is the main part that sets your pinion depth and your play and all of that. So this bearing on here ended up being good. There's nothing wrong with it. It'll run. It just floats in the housing anyway, and it just supports the pinion as it sits in there. So what I think we're going to do is get this reinstalled. I'm going to pull the bucket lid. I'll put some differential paint on the ring and pinion, and we'll rotate this a couple times, see if the lash is within spec, and if it is, we're gonna get it set back up, because once again, once he sets this back to the factory spec, everything should be the way it was from the factory, and all of the settings and the lash and whatnot, it's most likely not going to need to be adjusted, but he did send a shim pack with, if I need to be able to use that. Although I doubt I'm gonna have to, because the Snowcat was running great at the time, and I did an inspection and just noticed that this was something that needed to be fixed, and the wear marks and everything on the ring and pinion are where they should be. So even with this being out of whack, the system was running the way it should. So let's get this reinstalled, and then we'll check out the lash with some of the differential ring and pinion paint, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, you're looking at a dial indicator set up on the ring and pinion, and we're looking for factory specs, which are 8 thousandths to 15 thousandths. Those are the factory specs. However, Pat at Spryte Improvements was saying it's better to run looser than the factory specs. He said factory specs are okay, but if you run looser than that, all the way up to 30 thousandths, you should be okay. So I've got it set up, and I'm using the Snowcat dyno again. I got the tracks off the ground, everything's elevated, and we're just going to check by going back and forth with the ring what the play is in the ring and pinion there. And I have the the pinion locked down underneath with some Irwin clamps. So you can see if we go to -2 thousandths and then forward, we're running into 12 thousandths. So that's 14 thousandths play. And I'm recreating that every time, no matter what. So it's set on the looser side of things, but it's still within factory specs. So we know that part is good. So the next thing we need to check is pinion lash. So I'm gonna unlock the pinion, paint the ring here with some yellow paint, and then we'll get underneath the cat there and use a drill motor to spin this baby around and see what the lash looks like. All right guys, let's see if we can come up with a good lash pattern here. I'm gonna go under the cat and give this baby a spin and we'll see what comes up. Alright guys, let's take a look at these wear patterns. So if we're looking on the convex side, you can see that our... Oh, this is going to be terrible for you guys to try and see this. You can see that starting down about right here and then going up to here we have a contact patch. On the concave side we have something very similar. Starting right here and going up to about right here, we have a contact patch. So if we look in our book here, and we try to match up with what we're seeing, because we gotta consider both sides, so forward and reverse. So we have to look for a pattern that matches. And so if you look at some of these ones that are wrong, they're all on different sides of the ring. You see this? You've got inside and then outside, inside and then outside. But we don't have any of that. We have, what I can find is closest is this one, which is the correct tooth engagement. Nothing else matches because you have opposite contact patterns. So I ran this for the short, camera shoot, and I ran it for 5 or 10 minutes in both directions with that drill motor till the battery was dead. So I'm pretty confident that the way that this is set up is going to work. So what I think we're going to do next is chug-a-lug a bunch of oil in here, get the cover put back on, and I already went through and put the new rubber boots on there, so those are ready to go. We should be able to button this back up. I have to put the mounting bolts back in there. We'll get Rusty back on the ground, and I think he's ready for some more fun after that. There you go, guys. I got Rusty put back together. We checked out the pinion. We checked out the differential play on the ring and pinion, and we confirmed that the lash was not perfect, but close to what it's supposed to be. And I don't think making an adjustment on that would have made a big difference. It would have probably gone in the opposite direction that we needed to go anyway. But yeah, there's one other thing that I want to fix on Rusty before I get him put back on overkill out here, and it's the radiator fan clutch. I did some testing on it and I'm not able to get it to freewheel, so I think the silicone in there has decided to stay stuck in the on position. So I ordered one. It should be here this week. I think it's going to be here Monday, but I'll get that swapped out and put on Rusty, and then we'll get him back on the trailer, and then hopefully there's still some snow left. I'm pretty sure there is, and we'll take Rusty back out to our favorite little spot and run him around again and have some fun. But I think as far as this episode goes, guys, this is going to be it. If you like this episode, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And hey, leave me some comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I want to give a shout out to all the people who pointed the initial problem out to me that I was unaware of or I was being ignorant about. It's community like that that helps me figure things out when it's above my pay grade and I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, and a huge shout out to Pat at Spryte Improvements for the quick turnaround on that pinion assembly and the excellent machining job that he did to correct it. Other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, taking care of each other, and remember, always be kind to animals. Take care. I'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.